Well, hello, welcome to Furious Driving, and you join me today, well, there's a big digger thing over there, at the wheel of what is potentially the worst car on YouTube. Well, the worst car on YouTube if you happen to be a YouTuber looking for content. Now the reason
Turn right in 200 yards at the end of the road.
Now the reason I'm on an industrial estate in this Mercedes with nothing to talk about is that a few people in various videos over the last few weeks have asked what's going on
turn right.
With the W204, this grey Mercedes C250 CDI AMG Sport estate manual that I'm sitting in at this very moment, because I have basically done nothing with it on the channel for a really long time.
Turn left.
Because I've done virtually nothing with it for a really long time as far as the videos are concerned, and that's basically because nothing's really gone wrong. Since you've had an update on this car previously, which is a while back, it might have been when I did the it's hit 100,000 miles thing video a while ago, it has done another 20,074 miles, because that's 120,074 miles on the clock now. It would be more than that, but thanks to various lockdowns and also thanks to the fact I'm using more and more of the retro fleet day to day wherever I can when I'm not going to work, this hasn't had as much use as usual. But what has happened in the last 6 months or so since it's last featured on camera? I'll go that way. It has had a service. I didn't bother featuring that because we've videoed the last service down at Stevenson's Mercedes, and it went in, they did the oil change, they did the electronic book stamp, so it's got a service record on the Mercedes computer, and he changed brake fluid, which wasn't something I was expecting, but he said it looked pretty murky, so they did it, so that's all right. The car continues to run fine. What else have we had? We've had a new battery, because during the big lockdown last year, the original battery that was in this car, which had Mercedes-Benz on it still, died eventually. It might have been 10 years old at that point. It might have been someone sprung for a brand new Mercedes battery when the car was 5. Then I had to go and spring for a new battery. Here's me fitting it. So the wheel has finally squeaked. The S204 has finally thrown a problem. It's been many, many miles since it's put a foot wrong. But finally, the battery, which I changed last year, actually during lockdown, has died. The battery that happened in the car was, I think, the original Mercedes battery from 2010. So it had a pretty good innings. However, several months of inactivity and old age had finally got to it. I was going to buy a new one off, I think it was from GSF actually, I'd ordered it. Then I literally tripped over this one in the garage. I'd salvaged it from a car that a friend was scrapping, and it looked fairly new at the time, and so I quickly stole it, gave him a couple of pounds for it, and popped in here. But it's only lasted a year, and now if I take the car on a long drive, it's fine. If I drive a short drive, start and stop, it's got no oomph left in it whatsoever to restart the car. And I've had to jump start the car about 4 times this week, which is not good. And it did throw up an engine light the other day, which stayed on for a few cycles. Actually, it's only just gone off. I thought I was going to have to go and ask the garage nicely to code it out for me. So I have purchased, this is surprisingly heavy, it's about 23 kilos, big Halfords 5-year warranty battery. So let's get that fitted in quickly. There's only 3 bolts holding the battery, and there's one clamp down the bottom, which is a 13mm, and 2 10mm on the contacts. Since I cut my old, not very good, because the ball was broken on it, extension bar for the 1/4-inch drive into a Rover V8 oil pump priming tool, I've now gone and got a new 1/4-inch extension bar, but this is a triple set, so you've got 3 sizes of extension bar, so you can get into all different shapes of awkward and inaccessible place. In this particular case, I need all 3 to get down to the 13. Don't fall off. Thank you. And this is where it's extra useful, because you can just drop it down to a really short little extension bar to get onto the 10mm on the battery. It seems like everything is designed to get caught on something else. And this battery isn't exactly light. You need a second person to hold the wires out of the way, because there's some delicate looking electronics on the end of this. Out with the old, in with the new. If I can somehow get it in there without smashing the connectors into little pieces. And now all I need to do is drop this into the engine bay and lose it forever. Although there is a quick handy hint if you're trying to get an awkward bolt into somewhere else. Top tip, thanks Ed China. You can use your pickup tool to drop it into the right place and then get the first thread on. Oops. I don't think I've ever done a proper engine bay detail on this car on video, have I? Now obviously don't forget to take your plastic caps off, otherwise you're not going anywhere. Now if you're interested, this battery was 113 quid with a trade card from Halfords, which didn't seem too bad value to be honest, considering the size of it and the cranking power. There was a USA one from GSF and they had a weekend special sale on where it was reduced to £119 with free delivery. But that was also 5 years warranty, virtually identical specs. But the thing is, because Halfords is just down the road, if this does go wrong, or it does wear out before that 5 years is up, well I can't imagine it happening, it's much easier to replace it. It's not just a £6 saving, it's the ease of getting down there and just, you know, saying hello to the people behind the desk. Right, so make sure it does actually still start. So in neutral, foot on the pedal. Oh, that's better. It was getting a bit sluggish on the cranking before. Still all good. It's not forgotten the mileage. It still shows it's 6,500 on the trip meter and 119,000 on the overall odometer. Then another thing which I've covered last year, so I don't really want to do another video about it all over again. I've put summer tyres on it, and here's a video of me putting summer tyres on it. And of course, finishing touch, don't forget your centre cap. And I will, in a minute, off camera, torque these down to the correct Newton meters when the car's on the ground. These wheels are beautiful. So yeah, it now has a nice new set of Continental 18-inch, whatever size they are on the back, and older Continentals on the front, which will probably need replacing at some point later this year. I'll be honest, I actually don't know where I'm going now because I was just talking to the camera and not really navigating. I'm somewhere in Rochester. Let's see where this road goes. That's Rochester Bridge, here we are. Yeah, what else have we done to this car? So tyres, service, battery, nothing really dramatic, and it's all stuff that I've covered before, so I didn't really want to go and make an entire video about it. The most dramatic thing that's happened to this car in the last year is it got a cracked windscreen. So I'm currently driving home from having a new windscreen fitted at Auto Windscreens in Rochester under the insurance. So this might seem like a slightly dull video where very little has happened, and that's kind of because it is. But people were asking what's going on with this car, and you know, I thought I'd give you an update on what's happened with this machine for the last year. Basically, it continues to be the most reliable car you can imagine. I would touch a lump of timber right now, but there's no superstition accessory items in this vehicle at the moment, so I can't. I'll salute a magpie if I see one. I had been pondering the idea of maybe doing a bit of modification stuff, lowering it, tuning and that kind of thing, but the thing is, the car is so reliable and so good, I'm kind of loath to jinx it and mess around with it, because if we need a car to just go a really long distance, this car's always ready. We were planning to go to Italy later in the summertime, but that's still very much up in the air, and we were going to drive. We've got the 2019 Mini that my wife has, even though that's a Clubman that's almost as big as this car. This has got way more room inside, and it's a lot less juicy on the motorway, so this is the obvious choice, even though it's much older. So it continues to be good for that. I was going to lower it, but the ride is actually really quite nice. It's actually fairly firm as it is. My dad drove it one day, and he used to have a C Class, and he was surprised at how hard sprung it was because it's got the AMG suspension on it, so I'll kind of leave that alone as well. But then now, in a month or so's time, I'll have had this car for 3 years. So is it time for me to move it on because it's not providing content? Should I just keep with it because it's a nice handy car to have in the background, that it doesn't break, it doesn't cost a lot to run, it's paid for, you know, it's not like an HP PCP deal that's festering in the background? Or should I just chop it in for something more interesting? Should I get some kind of mad Subaru? Or should I go and get something ridiculous like a Jaguar XJ as a daily car, although that's only available as an automatic and I don't like driving autos on a day-to-day basis. So, What could replace this C Class that's equally reliable, equally economical, and is going to be interesting but not cause me trouble? It's a tough decision to make. So yeah, that's why you've not seen a video of this car for a while, because it's just had routine maintenance, which hasn't been an exciting video topic. The next time you see this car, we've got another family holiday road trip planned for later in the summertime, which this is destined to be the wheels of choice on. So you'll get to see it in some far-flung British location, loaded with stuff, and I guess camping this year, because you know that's just the easiest thing to do at the moment. So yeah, that'll be an exciting use of the car, but for the time being, this is just an update on where the W204 is and what it's been doing, which isn't that much. Which way's the motorway? This is the motorway. Excellent. To the motorway! Its natural home. Well, I do have to say, it does feel slightly unnatural driving in a windscreen that's not only not cracked like it has been for a week or two, because it picked up a stone chip which immediately splintered, but it came to me with like a dazzling array of little stone chips all across the glass that seemed to kind of make it glitter whenever the sun shone and caught it. The entire windscreen would just glow with bits of refracted light on those tiny scratch marks. So it's quite nice having a shiny new window. I'm a bit sad it's not an actual Mercedes window anymore. I missed the little logo in the corner over there, which is silly really. So there we have it, the W204. It's done thousands of miles, it's caused no problem, it's just had routine maintenance. Unlike my other cars. The Alpha is a perfect YouTube car because every time I take it out, something breaks. The Volvo's quite a good YouTube car because it's old enough to need routine, regular, extra jobs being done to it. This car is a terrible YouTube car. But basically, it just keeps on going on and going on and going on, never giving a problem, starting every morning, apart from the battery was flat. And yeah, it's just an unbreakable and unburstable thing. Would I be insane swapping it for an Alpha 159? Oh yeah, now I do remember where the last time this car was used in a video. It was back in beginning of the year when it was snowing and I couldn't get a car out for a video review, so I talked about how I make my own videos and I drove this car in the snow. So this car's been out in absolutely every weather, rain, snow, sleet, slime even, I guess, and it just takes everything in its stride. This car is so good at just handling anything. Rear wheel drive, not a problem with winter tyres, and of course now I've got the summer tyres back on it again for the warm weather. What was I going to say? Yes, before going back to work, I am diverting or going back via the sorting office to go and check the PO box to see if there's anything exciting in the PO box for the next junk in the trunk. I hate these speed humps. 11 miles an hour and it still feels jarring on these ones. Whoever built them needs a slap around the back of the ankles. This is the worst. But if you'd like to send anything in for the next junk in the trunk episode, which will be in the 3rd week of the month always, the mailbag feature happens then. If you've got anything amusing, anything car related, any old number plates from around the world, then do send them into the PO box, which is in the address. Do send them into the PO box address, which is in the description below. The funner the stuff, the better the stuff. I am in equal parts relieved and disappointed we've not had mad amounts of crazy stuff from Wish arriving in the post bag, because you know it does fill the episode up, but at the same time it's just very strange. I forgot they shut early on a Wednesday.
Donated this year as well.
So we'll find out tomorrow if there's anything in the PO box. Well, thank you for watching, and if you're a fan of the W204, then I hope you've enjoyed this. If you're not a fan of the W204, then I hope it wasn't too boring. Anyway, I'll be back to fixing stuff in the next video, because there's plenty that needs fixing.